City Council for public safety related issues, public works issues as well.
Okay, public safety, that's the issue we're dealing with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, to start and to introduce the topic, I will introduce myself first. I'm Derek Robinson. I'm the director of a group called Freedom over Harassment and Surveillance. Basically what we do is we are an organization of victims of what's called organized stalking. And that means that there are individuals that are stalked and harassed by a group of people. Mm-hmm. And also they are assaulted by what's called directed energy weapons. Basically, these are devices that use radio frequencies to attack people, both on short distances and long distances. These are devices that have the capability to injure and attack people and cause them bodily harm, also can attack the brain. It is a way that people can attack someone without being seen, detected, or caught or prosecuted, and cause serious, sometimes life-threatening injuries to an individual. No one suspects a thing. We have calls from people from 200 cities across the country. We have, in all major cities, people have contacted us who have been attacked by these weapons and who are dealing with people who have organized to stalk and harass them. Levi is one of our technical assistants here.
Yeah, I work with their group, and I'm actually more of a technical guy. I went to UC Berkeley and been a college professor and whatnot, and deal with electromagnetic frequencies. I've proven in court twice how these weapons work by triangulating them from other people and whatnot. And just because you can't see what's going on through the airwaves doesn't mean that they can't be directed and actually hurt people. So
can you explain to me how this would work?
For the most part, what they're using right now is microwaves. And microwaves, if you direct it, think of it as a laser, because we can only see invisible light, but if you go up higher in the electromagnetic spectrum, you're using microwaves, which we all have in our cell phones, but those aren't the same types of microwaves that when you have a directed microwave, it's called a maser, and it can go through walls, it can go through concrete, and you can actually, with the different meters I have, I can actually pick up where the microwaves are coming from and triangulate where they're coming from, and I've actually in court proven to judges that, other people, private citizens are doing this, companies are being hired to do this as well. I've been on Navy ships where they have microwave weapons as well, and this is actually a real thing that's going on, and it's causing, everything from leukemia in people to affecting their amygdala in their brain, which is where all your sensory organs come together, by vibrating, and it's causing what people would refer to as hallucinations or hearing things that aren't there. And it's technology based. It's not a mental illness type of thing. Also, I brought this just for demonstration. This is actually a sonic generator that you can go through walls. I do use it for demonstration purposes to people, but this actually causes people nausea, and this is actually a crowd control device. The smaller device is only about this big, and it runs off a 9-volt battery. But it's a direct. You'll hear a high pitched sound. It's not the same as the microwaves, but people can put this up to walls, and it'll go through walls. This can go blocks down the street, and if it's on for more than about a half hour, people will start getting nauseated. So you hear that high pitched frequency. Yeah. So that's why I brought things like this. When I give demonstrations, I've made lasers in 15 minutes that I can burn through metal, but they're visible lasers to show how the directed energy weapons work. So.
Yeah, the stuff on the street is more high tech. It's more engineered. It's more sophisticated. This is top of the line military technology we're talking about. And we're just asking for more security. We're very worried about a weapon that we can't see that's making contact with the body at this magnitude, causing instant pain, severe, deadly.
And so how did your this organization get started? I mean, was it through just people that you knew had been affected by this, or how did...
We connected actually when the internet came along and people started to post. These are actually mind control devices that can affect your brain as well. It can cause dizziness, it can cause disorientation, it can cause memory loss, and many other things. It can even project, they've even learned to project voices into a person's mind. The technology is developed to the point where, well, it's just very, very advanced, I'll just say that. And it's the radio frequencies can do just about anything to the human body. It can cause strokes, it can cause heart attacks,
leukemia.
So you said that that you have received calls from people in 200 different cities that have been
in America, not to mention Canada and Europe. I get
50
people
countries worldwide.
So do you guys have specific cases and folks who have been
We talk to 300 people on the line every weekend who are being attacked. I mean, hundreds.
Yeah, there's a lot of the symptoms are the same. People hire me out to go and track down signals for people, and that's
Let me get your chair, sir.
Sure. Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing? All right.
Hey, Derek, you know she was asking for history of freedom.
Yeah.
She was asking for
How
history.
freedom got
We've had
started.
the conversation outside. Look at that.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hey. Hello.
Jump in whenever you have to start talking. Make sure you get yours
Anyway, he's going to give you a history of freedom, but I take on cases for people, and I travel all over the place to with meters and whatnot, and check out for technology. I also check out for triangulation of signals and things like that, and I found that probably 80 to 90% of the cases that I deal with all have very similar, if not the same symptoms. A lot of times, if they're not hearing things that are being projected in their mind, they get what's called tinnitus, and it's a ringing in their ear, and most of the time it's in their left ear. And then there's other things where it's causing physical damage to their bodies. People being diagnosed with diseases that they shouldn't be, that they're perfectly healthy, but they're being diagnosed with, like leukemia, for instance, is one. Like I said, a lot of times it affects, there's a right in the middle of your brain is where all your sensory organs come together in your amygdala. And that's one of the main targets of where the microwaves are being hit. So that affects your eyes, your hearing, your touch, your taste, and all your sensory organs too.
So when folks start feeling symptoms or start feeling sick, I would assume they go to the doctors, right? So then, are the doctors able to make that connection? They're not at all. When
I write reports for them, which I do after I do my investigations, and they're able to take the reports to the doctors seem to take them a lot more seriously after I write reports for them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually hired an investigator, private investigator, Melinda Kidder, who did a body scan on me and detected that I had some heat sensor things going on with my brain, and I then went to the neurologist, and I have some spots on my brain now, and he's monitoring them to see if there's any types of changes and things of that sort.
And what were your, if you don't mind me asking, what were your symptoms before? Did you have headaches or some of the symptoms he's indicated?
Exactly what he's talking about. Just like ringing in your ear, but even aside from that, I mean, you're stalked. It's actually organized stalking, and many of us that this has been happening to across the country have actually physically moved to many different states, thinking that perhaps if they moved, this would stop. I've actually lived in 4 different states, and I have police reports and so forth. I've never had a mental health disorder. I'm an MSW. I'm actually ABD from my doctor. I've never had any kind of mental health problem. However, when you attempt to explain something like this to law enforcement, they're going to automatically think you have some type of mental disorder.
First thing they say.
This whole operation is
and they're not these
because
people
of the nature of the weapon, you know. So they have a lot of different things going on to keep the gang confused. Plus, they don't want to get exposed. Like the ringing of the ears and stuff, that's to turn a person on to what's going to happen. They have tactics to where I heard in cases they keep popping these people in the ears. They want to get your attention, and it just picks up along with people breaking into cars, throwing eggs, burning of the skin, shorting of the...
Yeah.
Ms. Alexis, if I might say so, microwaves, the way microwaves work, they only heat up water molecules. And since our body's more than 75% water, whether it's your brain, whether it's your skin, whether it's inside your body, that's why they're feeling the heat sensations, the burning, and also the lesions in the brain. Yeah, exactly. I've seen that personally with my own eyes.
Can explode your heart at the speed of light. These are weapons that are not being talked about. I mean, like, what the heck? This is unbelievable.
And so you mentioned organized stalking. Why did you feel that you were a target of something like this?
Well, I can personally say, and the literature presents that it happens to many people that were whistleblowers. I worked for the government in D.C. for several years. I've managed contracts. And so I worked for the Office Child and Family Services, and I had an issue with a management there, and I reported it. I actually reported it to the Office of the Inspector General, you know, after going through the appropriate channels, and nothing was actually done. At that time, the manager was actually given the option to resign, or she would have been terminated, but she did resign. But shortly thereafter, that's when all of this began for me, and this was starting in 2010, and it's happening to a number of people, you know, across the country. Many of them are well-educated people. Some of them are not. You know, just as Randy was explaining about the device, and I was explaining that I do have documentation to prove my investigation. Randy also had, I'm sorry, Randy. I'm sorry.
Levi.
I'm sorry, Levi. Randy also has, you know, x-rays to prove that he has something in the base of his brain. And he actually has an attorney.
An inch down in my skull. I've never given any permission for that to be done. And I just felt...
You never did you yourself?
No, I mean, I have an attorney. He has everything. But the thing about it is the reason why they gang stalk you, the only thing I can come up with is that they're trying to prevent you from getting out what they're doing, you know, from exposing what they're doing.
And so when you've received phone calls, what have been some of the cases for, you know, any person to be targeted?
Okay, we have a range of reasons